Alhamdulillah, there seems to be a ceasefire on the horizon, but there's only one big problem, which is that it's flipping between Shaitan Yahu over here and Dajjal and Trump. Anybody who thinks that this should be celebrated, I'm sorry, but you're living in cuckoo land. What we have seen over the last 2 years from the occupying entity being fully supplied and supported by the US should leave us in no doubt that this is just some more theatrics. The problem will remain, it's not going anywhere from some flimsy ceasefire. Also, who is brokering the ceasefire? Like, usually when there's a ceasefire, it's between two parties who have got issues, and in the middle is somebody who is unbiased, who takes no sides, and he is the one who maintains the ceasefire and punishes any side that breaks the ceasefire. But in this case, that broker is the US. Like, how does that make any sense? Me and my friend have jumped somebody, we've battered them, and then I come along and make peace with my friend against the guy that we just both jumped. Like, if it goes pear-shaped, I'm obviously going to take the side of my friend. This is that analogy on steroids. Are we really meant to have any kind of trust in the international system after what we've seen for almost 2 years? Almost 2 years of a live, fully documented unaliving of an entire population. And now we're somehow meant to have trust in that same system, in that same world order. The fact is that even if there is a ceasefire, the occupation remains. The problem still remains. And what's really interesting is that whilst a ceasefire looms large over Gaza, Netanyahu's ministers have now set their attention, set their sights on the West Bank. Like, let's free up resources from Gaza so we can turn our attention to the West Bank. In fact, a petition was signed by 15 members of the Knesset saying that they want to go and take over the West Bank by the end of this month. This ayah of Quran sums it up to an absolute T. How can there be a treaty while if they gain dominance over you, they do not observe concerning you any pact of kinship or covenant of protection? They satisfy you with their mouth, but their hearts refuse compliance, and most of them are defiantly disobedient. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking a rhetorical question. How can there be a treaty with these kind of people where if they gain dominance over you, if they gain authority over you, if they have the upper hand against you, then they do not observe that treaty, they do not observe that protection, that security? This is exactly what we've seen every time there is a ceasefire. It's broken. Why? Because the problem still persists. Why? Because even though there is a ceasefire, quote unquote, there is still an occupation. But the real question here, the glaringly obvious question here, is that the occupation is from the Middle East, and Palestine, Gaza, the West Bank, is within the Middle East. So you would expect, you would assume that the broker or the brokers are going to be from the Middle East. But no, it's from halfway across the world, the USA. Where is the participation of the majority Muslim nations within the ceasefire? Why are they not there? Why are they not brokers? Like, imagine just for a second, if these Muslim nations were part of the ceasefire and they said, look, if there is any more unaliving, if there is any breaking of the ceasefire, any of the agreements of the ceasefire, forget doing away with the actual occupation itself. We're not even talking about that. Forget doing away with the illegal settlements. We're not even talking about that. We're just talking about the resumption, the continuation of the occupation, but a ceasefire, no more unaliving. Imagine if these Muslim nations came together and they said that if any of the tenets of the ceasefire are broken, then we are going to impose an economic embargo. We are going to cripple your economies. We are not going to trade with you. We are not going to export oil, gas, steel, iron to you. We are not going to allow your cargo ships to reach you that flow through the Red Sea, that flow through the Suez Canal, that flow through the Mediterranean Sea. You're not even going to get them. Any land trade routes that you have, gone. Any permission from airspace that you have, gone. Forget the removal of the occupation. This is within the current secular nation state model, within the current un-Islamic setup that we have in the Muslim world, within the current normalizing that these nations have with the occupying entity. Even that they cannot muster up, even that they do not have the vision for, they do not have the willpower for. When we say that the first line of the IOF or the Muslim regimes is for this particular reason, that whenever there is an opportunity to actually help the people of Gaza, they do the opposite. They do the opposite. 10 times out of 10 they do the opposite. They help the occupier against the occupied, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they are raised with who they love and who they defended, and we are raised with who we love and who we defend, our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba and the Shuhada and the Salihin.